Hey everybody, Richard Roy 2 here. I have been inspired by Ms. Knights to try posting a tag, Occupy tag. Now, there's a kind of a, somewhat of a lull going on right now, and it's kind of like a regrouping, so to speak, in the Occupy movement. And I don't want to see the Occupy movement end. I'd like to see it evolve. And I was thinking that one of the ways that we could do this, well, I'm going to go from a certain standpoint. I'm going to say, I'm asking anybody who watches this to post a video response and also put it up as a tag too. So anybody who watches it puts a tag, puts up their own video. What I'm asking is, what do you want the Occupy movement to be? Now, there's a lot of people out there saying what it is, and you might even take a look at it and say, well, yeah, I do kind of see it that way, or I see it this way, what it seems to be now, and then progress and say, well, this is what I would like to see it become. Right now, I'd like to tell you what I'm hoping for. I think there's a lot of possibility going on here. The Occupy movement is like a starting point, and there are tactics being used to get attention put out, and I'm very pleased with the attention that it has put forth, that it hasn't been completely ignored. It did at first, but the persistence of all you people who occupied those spaces put it on the headlines, in the front pages, in people's faces, into the faces of the big media types who finally had to look at it. And there are those that are ridiculing it and poo-pooing it and saying it's nothing to worry about, nothing to consider. But what I really want is to hear what you think. I want to hear what people see. You know, do they have vision? Can you bring something to it? And that's what I kind of thought the Occupy movement was doing, was kind of holding itself off on a level and saying, we don't want to pop up and say this is what it all is about, because, and I think that was a good idea, because if they did that, it would have restricted a lot of people from stepping in and bringing their own stuff to it. And I love that it got people to bring their own stuff to it. All kinds of people brought their stuff to it, and I think that's a good thing. Because when you bring your stuff, you have an opportunity to put it out there in the open and say, this is me, this is what I want, this is what I see, this is what I envision. And at the same time, you can hear what other people envision, what they want, what they see is possible. There's been a lot of changes going on in the last little while, and I think a lot of it has to do with the advent of social media. There has been a lot of crumbling of our systems, the crumbling of the mega music industry, the movie industry. Even education is starting to feel the shake of what's going on with social media, because there's a lot of opportunity for the ordinary person to go out there and just connect directly to those people who want. You're not so restricted by the big media types whose major motive would be to make a profit in the best, most efficient way possible. And the efficiency, of course, has to do with this genre does the best for us, we should focus on that, or this one for that, etc., etc., etc. So it restricts and compartmentalizes the genres, and those are the ones that get focused on. Anybody who brings anything different is not going to do too well in any easy fashion. Whereas here, like on YouTube, you put your stuff out there and people go for it, or they don't. That's what I love about YouTube. It's a great exploration place. You can go and you can look for all kinds of stuff. And I encourage that. All kinds of ideas, no matter how agreeable or disagreeable. If they're out there, you get to actually consider them, to challenge them, to disagree with them, to argue with them. That is so important. And it's this information that's getting out there that I think is a very important thing. The ability of all of us to be able to see this is incredible. I think we're growing at an incredible pace over this last little while. Things are changing so fast, and the corporations are getting desperate, and they're trying to set all kinds of things. Look at SOPA. What do I want Occupy to be? I know the 99%, they've taken it and turned it into a kind of a class warfare thing, saying 99% versus the 1%, 1% being just the people who are making money and the 90% being the rest of us, right? I don't see that was what it was all about. What I see is that they were complaining about the fact that only about 1% of the population is the one who's in control of such a large amount of the wealth. And what I mean by control is through the corruption that's going. It's the corruption and the problems with the institutions and their denigration, their rigidity, their tendency. They're going to crumble, undoubtedly, unless they make some sort of changes. Unfortunately, there's certain things that they tend to cause to crumble is not necessarily themselves. They'll draw and suck all the energy and everything around from the rest of the community and society in order to support the infrastructure, the large structures like the banks. They get all the bailouts, and everybody else can go suck their what do they call it? Eviction notices, you know. So, what is Occupy? Bring something. Don't just, I mean, there is people out there that are bringing some ideas. Look at those ideas. Consider them. Think about what you'd like to see. I'd like to see society become the primary, the thing that it's all about. A place where everyone can come together, like here, and be themselves without fear of ridicule or attack. Okay, ridicule, we're going to get ridiculed. You can do this to me. It doesn't bother me. I know that I see things a certain way, and it's based a lot on what a lot of people have shown me in terms of ideas and possibilities. Occupy won't be the next stage. Bring something. Bring something. Maybe this is it. You're tagged. Love to see what you've got. I know there are those who would be Ripple intellectual. If you can't speak more than so many syllables of words, then you have nothing to bring. Bullshit. Okay? Well, crap. One syllable. We have to learn, we have to progress somehow. There are children, there is everybody, every level of education and intelligence that are trying to grow up, that are trying to build, that are trying to evolve. Why should we not help them? They may help us. Sometimes you'll be surprised at what a certain perspective will bring. Please. You're tagged. Talk to you later. Bye for now.